Changing up the content here today. Today we're looking at this VEVOR heater. You guys have probably seen them all over the internet. I just got mine today in the mail. I think this is a 5 kilowatt option diesel heater, the 12 volt. So it comes with, obviously here, the heater. And then I think this is the little heat blower assembly. This is the exhaust pipe. That feels pretty cheap, and this is the intake, I believe. Then this is the exhaust manifold, different hose clamps. This is a heat shield. It comes with a remote and whatever this is. I'm not entirely sure. I need to read up on that. But I would say, just looking at what it comes with, looking at all this different stuff, I got this off of TikTok Shop. I would say is the cheapest thing to get this at. It's $75 on sale, free shipping. I mean, so far it doesn't seem too bad, but I did see another video of a guy who kind of took this thing apart, and there were some things that are kind of interesting with the assembly on it. So I'm going to take it apart and make sure that all that looks okay. What I saw was you just got to take off this topper on it, and then there should be 4 bolts underneath. And his, like, the bolts were loose, the glow plug was loose, so I just kind of want to check that out to make sure that's good to go. You get that red cover taken off, and we're just looking at, it looks, I don't know, a gallon tank, maybe a little bit over a gallon. The tank looks, you know, pretty simple, obviously. Then this is the fuel pump that just squirts fuel, and that's the, I'd have to look closer at the wiring, but I believe I've heard that that's really the only thing that runs off of the 12 volts, and probably runs that glow plug too, is this fuel pump. So just takes the diesel out of here, pumps it down to the glow plug, it burns it, and that's obviously what creates the heat, and then it also runs the fan, I'm guessing. So I unplugged this. This was easy. That was just a little clip. Then this one goes into that one, and then I had to take off this line and the fuel line, and I got the fuel tank off and that little metal piece off. So now I'm gonna flip it over, take off the bolts from the bottom, and then pop this off. And so here I'm in the bottom. This was just the fuel inlet, and then these screws were quite loose, but I'm taking those out right now. So we got the heater off. I'm guessing I'm gonna take this off, maybe it's just thread off. Okay, yep, then there we go. Whoops. This here will just pop off. This right here should be your glow plug. That's just the circuit board right there. I'm just checking everything kind of out in here. Yeah, it's definitely not super. Oh, I'm seeing something I don't like to see. You probably can't see it on camera, but there's a bolt just like that down there that looks like it's like over halfway out of its threads, which is not a good sight to see. So all I had to do, I didn't even have to do that, but I took that screw out, and then you take that little rubber liner off this down here. You see that screw right there? I did not like to see that loose. I think something you don't want to see, but that's why you check things out when you buy them. But yeah, it's just got all these aluminum fins. The fuel line is just right there. It goes right up there, goes right next to the glow plug. It burns it, and it blows out the heat. That's pretty much all there is to it. So, but yeah, I'll get that in there. So you got to take all these bolts off. That's what that guy did, because his glow plug was super loose in there. Just checking it out how it works. So this runs the glow plug. This one runs like the exhaust fan or the intake fan, and then the heat comes out over here. So we're gonna, inside this chamber, there's another fan that blows the air into like kind of the glow plug and that heater. So I'm gonna take these off and then pop this cover off, and then look at what's inside. So we pop this off. That's just the fan that runs it. And then there's a gasket, and then in here, this is the glow plug, and that's the fuel line. So the fuel line just gets dropped right in there. There's 4 more bolts to take out if I take them out and pop this out and see how that looks in there. But I think I might just leave it if I can confirm that that is in there tight and everything looks correct. I believe that was just a 12mm bolt. Tighten it down, and it's tight up against the housing there. and then that just pops out. But I think I'm just gonna leave it because I don't have super great Allen keys like that to get those out. But yeah, I should just be able to pop it back together. And so yeah, I would just, if you get these, I'd be cautious to make sure that everything is tight in the way it's supposed to be. So getting these plugged back in, you can see on the board there it says ignition, so that would obviously be the glow plug, and this one says motor, and that's just the fan motor that's bringing in air. And then this one, honestly, me personally, I don't know what that says. It says TP, so I guess that is your toilet paper regulator of some sort, but I'm not really sure. But that one plugs in down there, and we'll get that back together. This little one's got to go in that part of the plastic mount. All right, so got that laid in there. I'm just gonna start putting the bolts back on. So obviously that'll go back in there. This plug goes back in the one from down there, so not too bad. Get these 4 bolts back in there and just get it all back together. So I got those back in there, and I got the fuel line on. The fuel line goes up and around and gets up on the top. And then I'll go ahead and put this plate back on there, give this thing a little bit more structure here. And then, yeah, should be pretty much good to go. Okay, so I got the remote one. This one should just run the main things in there. And I got the fuel line back on. So this is the out. This goes to the heater. Better put that clamp on there better. And then this is the intake. It goes down and up back through to get to the diesel tank itself. Currently where I'm at is about, I don't know, I think the wind chill is up to -40 today. I mean down to -40. I think base temps are -20 to -10 all day. So this is a good time to give this heater a try in an ice shack or just a garage, any kind of building, to see what kind of temp it can get up to. And I don't know what's the fuel consumption, just different things like that, and really give it a honest review. I'm just glad that the problems weren't too terribly bad, other than that one bolt, obviously. But that's kind of what you expect when you're paying $75 for these things. Okay, got that back together, ready to go. Need to figure out a situation with these little things. Well, sometimes when you got a lot of junk in your garage, you get lucky. You get an old trash bin just full of wire connectors like this. This is the bolt battery we got for running trolling motors or anything like that, or transducer type thing. That should work just slick. So find another one like that. Should have the first one crimped on there. Just give it a cut back. It's 14 gauge wire. Stick it in there and clamp it down. Do the same with the positive, and should be about ready to go. Well, I actually don't have any diesel fuel on me right now, but I got it on here. Just like that. The lights are on. E2. That's definitely a code in the book, but hey, it turns on. It's better than not turning on. It's a good sign, so that's good. So it's the next day. I got the wires done up. I just need to find some wood to put under this thing because there's actually not enough clearance I've seen to run this exhaust pipe with the muffler. So I got a piece of wood I'm going to cut for that. So I'm just got this random piece of scrap wood. I'm going to cut it in half with my skill saw here. And it should just be enough just to screw it on there so it's a little bit elevated. Not quite in half, but we got the 2 pieces there, and that'll work just fine. It took a little bit more finagling than I would like, but that got on there, but at least it's tight. And then I'll put a clamp on that, and then it's got this heat shield and all these clamps, obviously, and then the intake is just this black one, and that just goes over like that with another clamp. So I got that one tightened down. I got this kind of heat cover on, and I'm not going to put the exhaust on until I actually get it where I want it to be. And then the exhaust, I think you just kind of mount to a wall or something, or because there's these holes in them. It came with more kind of mounting screws and like these, so I'm kind of confused on that entirely. Wait, no, maybe no, I think you hang them out so it's obviously not touching the wall with a bolt. And then I'll just put the intake on and then put that thing on, and then we're gonna go put it in my ice shack to see how long it takes to heat it up. So I'll keep tightening this one up, and then so the exhaust will just go on there. This sits like that on this wood, fine. And I think I saw that this thing here is actually for the intake, some kind of intake cleaner thing, so I'll get that one on there too. I'm thinking these are both just supposed to run outside by themselves to get kind of fresh air into the room. So yeah, we're putting that on, and then we should be ready to run it. Okay, we got the exhaust and the intake on. We just filled it up with like red cherry diesel for farm use. So we're gonna go ahead and get this thing a try. So we're looking, so this is our old, it was a converted pop-up camper that turned into an ice shack. Trying to make a decision. There's all the holes in the floor, obviously. There is windows, but they don't go directly to the outside. There's a screen. I don't know the best place to do it, but I'll at least try it out. I got the thermostat in here. What I'm reading is just below 10 degrees, so probably 8. A little bit warmer in here than I thought it would be, but still not super warm. So I will keep this hooked up for you and get started up. Okay, I just got it hooked up to the battery. I'm gonna go ahead and hit power. Maybe hold it. Okay, just kicked on. This is still just cold air blowing, but you can definitely hear that pump. It's kind of loud. It's getting louder. Fan seems to be blowing faster. So that must have been some kind of startup, because the fuel pump wasn't, it must have been getting the cold plug ready. That'd be my guess. So now it's ticking, so now it must actually be burning the fuel. Let's go check out the exhaust out here. Maybe a little bit. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes. I can definitely see that muffler going. Fair amount of smoke coming out. I got a little soot there on the grass. We'll see what it's like in here. Hopefully nothing's on fire. Definitely warmer in here, which is kind of what you expect. Oh yeah, that's pretty warm air. I don't have a very accurate reading on that. Thermostat, maybe 12. It's not. Okay, it's been about another 15 minutes. I would say there's definitely less smoke than there was originally, just a little bit here and there. Go inside. I'd say it's, I mean, it kind of smells in here a little bit. That's obviously, I probably need to get a piece of plywood or something to cover up that exhaust hole. Still blowing some hot air. Temp wise, I mean, it still says like 12 degrees. I don't know how accurate this is. I'm gonna put this right next to the heater. Okay, this will be the last check. It's been probably 50 minutes. Not a lot of smoke coming out at all, so I would say that the exhaust fumes are pretty low in that regard. You can still definitely feel that tick. I would definitely say it is quite warm in here. I would say it's pretty warm. I put the thermostat in front of the heater this time. It's closer to 20 now, which isn't, or is it going up? It's going up when I'm getting higher, because obviously hot air is going to rise. Yeah, I would say that this is an inaccurate test, because I should have had, I literally just grabbed this, I should have had it up here. We're getting closer to 40, so kind of just disregard that other information. That was my fault. I had it on here, this was cold. I had it on there, that was cold. But if you're actually in the air where heat will rise, it's definitely a lot warmer. So overall, I think the heater is probably worth it. I really haven't had any problems with it. Obviously, this is my first time using it, but like setting it up was good. I would just say obviously check it over, like I've said 1,000 times. Yeah, I think that like it's obviously really light. I would say it's probably less than 20 pounds, 30 pounds. It'll heat up a shack to 40, 50 degrees pretty easily, I would say. And a lot of times when you're fishing, it's going to be a lot warmer than it is today. If I check the temps today, it's probably, I don't even know. Check the -6 out right now, and it's about 30 degrees, 40 degrees in the shed. So I would rate the heater probably 8 out of 10. I mean, I don't got a lot of bad things to say about it other than it being manufactured not super quality control. Like there's some things going on that are not great. But yeah, little 12-volt battery. You don't have to run a generator to get the fan to work. You just get, because a lot of times if you're an ice fisherman, you probably got batteries for stuff like this too, or I don't know, just got a battery laying around. And honestly, it's a great option, I would say. So thanks for watching the video, and I would definitely recommend the heater.